Hey guys, what's up? So, welcome to the first video in the Phucking Phat Cookies YouTube. And so today what I wanted to talk to you about was why we started Phucking Phat Cookies and how we started. And while I'm telling you all that, I'm going to be testing out a new dough. So make sure you check out our Instagram to see the final product over there. Let's just get right in then. So starting off, a little bit about me. I'm originally from New Zealand and my parents, they both bake. So I've been baking since I was little. I actually started in cakes and cupcakes, mostly cupcakes. I've done a few cakes for people and stuff like that, but it's mostly cupcakes. And I would make them for my mom's work friends like close to every week. And they loved them. And so then eventually people started asking me like, hey, where can I buy these? Like, can you make these for a party for me? And so I started doing that. So my dad, he is a professional baker. He got his apprenticeship when he was 16, when he left high school. And it was kind of a requirement for him to get his apprenticeship. So he chose to go into baking, and that's what he did. And that's what he's done my whole life. My mom, I used to go to work with her when I was like 4 or 5. I would go to work with her and work with my mom, and she would be making like all these like cupcakes and slices, and so I would just be around that kind of stuff all the time from a really young age, and I just always loved it. When I was 13, my nana gave me a book, a cupcake book, and that's when I started with the cupcakes. My grandma would always be bringing over baking, marshmallow slice, that kind of stuff all the time. And I was just like, how does she make this stuff taste so good? And so I just kind of got obsessed with it from there. When I met Jeff, I met him in 2015 when I was working here. And then I went back to New Zealand and we were talking online. And then I eventually moved here in 2017. And when we were talking, he was telling me how much he loved cookies. Like he loved cookies so much. He would go out with his friends drinking and stuff, and the only thing he wanted after he had like finished drinking was cookies and milk. He would go to McDonald's and 7-Eleven and any place you can think of, he would go just to get the cookies. So that kind of worked out, and I told him like, hey, like I actually bake, so I started baking him cookies when I moved here, and we would post it on our Instagrams, and we didn't have a very big following then, but a lot of messages like, hey, you're gonna get us cookies, like where's the cookies? And this was I want to say this was like 2018, 2019, and we were kind of just like, like I don't know if that'll work, and so we just never did it. And then fast forward to Jeff's 25th birthday, I made him like this Cookie Monster cake, right? And it was like Cookie Monster, and it had all these cookies all around it, and people were like, holy crap, like where can I order that? Like where is that from? And we kind of looked at each other and we were like, shoot, like why don't we just do this? We have a bigger following now, a lot more people know us, so it's not like we're just starting from nothing. So we're like, okay, let's do this. So we took a while and we're like, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to do like a bunch of cakes? Do you want to do cupcakes, cookies? And we're just like, okay, no, like Jeff loves cookies and I can bake cookies, so let's do cookies. And we're like, okay, so what are we gonna name it? And at the time we were working for another company and we were delivering meals. And so we were just driving one day talking about this, and we're like, Jeff was like, what the F are we gonna name this company? And he looks at me and goes, oh my gosh, what about something like Phucking Phat? And I'm like, yeah, but with a PH, like that's great, right? So then we had a name. Then what we had to come up with was recipes. And so I took about 2 to 3 months to come up with like the perfect recipe. We were giving them out to our friends, our family, like, hey, please be honest, tell us what you think, like out to our family and stuff. And we're like, yeah, no, we need to know. And like the reason that I took 2 to 3 months to get the recipe perfect was because I needed them to be fat. Like I wanted these cookies to not just be your average chocolate chip cookie you can go to Publix and buy. These cookies needed to be different, so I needed to come up with a way how to decorate them, and the ingredients and everything going into it needed to be perfect. And I think that I got a pretty good recipe down because now they're really popular, which I couldn't be happier about. So then we were like, well, how are we gonna ship these? We need to be able to ship these. And so we said to some of our friends, we're like, hey, can we send you some cookies? Let us know how they taste and let us know how they arrive to you when they get there. So we did that and we sent them to our friends, and they were like, oh my God, like they came perfect, they were amazing. And so we're just like, okay, this is great, right? So this is so good. Now we have shipping. Okay, so then it was just a matter of getting orders, which we had to really work on our social media to get our orders to come up. And we still have to post all the time to get our orders to come up. Just as with any small business, you have to keep pushing and keep pushing. And I think the craziest thing though is looking back at all of this, the craziest thing to me is the fact that when we first started, we didn't have a lot of equipment. And what I mean by that is that I was using a hand mixer. I didn't have one of these. I legit was standing at the bench like this, making every cookies with a hand mixer. So our first event that we did, which was the Mid-Florida Classic, Dick Warner's show, and I made 150 cookies by hand with a hand mixer. That was like insane, but totally worth it. And then I learned so much more about baking just like through all of that. And now I have 2 mixers, which just makes my life so much easier. We also didn't start off by buying a whole bunch of stickers and like all this kind of crazy stuff, you know, that you think you might need to start a small business. And the reason for that is because we really wanted to focus on the product. So we would spend a lot of money on our ingredients to make sure that we got good quality ingredients so that they tasted good. And then we're like, we'll figure out the rest later. And then we have figured out the rest later, and everything kind of just fell into place and lined up so like nicely. And it was like, it was like we just didn't need to start with like buying a whole bunch of stuff. So if you want to start a small business, then just go for it. Just start it. Find a problem and then find the solution and open your small business. That's my advice because that's what worked for us. And so that is the story of Phucking Phat Cookies, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So into the baking now. Obviously with this channel, I'm not going to be giving you my recipes, right? But I can share with you a few tips and tricks that has helped me and stuff like that. So right now, like I said, I'm just doing a batter that I haven't tried before, making a new one. And so when you want to see the finished product, go to our Instagram and you'll see it there. But when I'm making a new batter, when I'm making like a test batter, one that I haven't made before, I will make like half and then half the recipe again, just so I'm not wasting it. And if it doesn't work, it's not a big deal because I don't want to have a whole batch of cookie dough that I'm not going to use and throw away because I think that's just wasteful. But yeah. So like I said, I won't be sharing my recipes, but I will be sharing tips and tricks and stuff like that, and like even where to get products from. So I hope you guys enjoy the video and stay tuned for the next one.